Why are you guys going to eat? I'm starting to dance. What happened? All right, you guys get in line because I think night shift does have to work. Hi guys.
Hi.
My name is Kurt.
Hi, Kurt.
I know Marie for a very long time. Probably too long. So welcome to you, and I guess you have to rent a big hall when somebody like Marie Perrin retires. You can't just hold this at the hospital.
No.
Two of the places that I might be the most uncomfortable is at church. Sunnyside would be probably the first on my list, and then Portland Adventist might be another place but Marie Perrin will bring you back. You guys probably know that people like Marlene they get your phone number and they won't let it go. And they text you and they say, Marie is done, and what do you have to say about it? I don't have a whole lot to say. I'm not as familiar with her as many of you are, although I worked with her a long time. And I miss her. They miss you. That's what they're here for, Marie. They're worried. We're all worried. I just had a hospital that I work at close, so yeah, we're very worried. Luckily, I didn't stay long enough at Adventist to close Adventist. Do you call it a ministry now? Do you call it Portland Adventist? What is it? AMC? PAMC?
We don't know.
You don't know? The Portland Ministry? Is that what it is? Yeah, something like that. So I thought for a long time about what I might say about Marie. I don't know. Stories? Marie would often drag me back to a bedside and make me do a reassessment. Something as simple as a acute abdomen, or something you didn't really need to pay attention to. Or she would drag me back because I hadn't paid attention. I would be some ER kind of wandering around the ward acting like I didn't care, and she would say, no, you really do care, and you need to go back. You need to talk to the family again, and you need to say the same thing over again. That was Marie. One thing, and then I'll let who's coming after this?
Dr. Park.
Dr. Park, okay, good. Sometimes you want to set the bar really low because the person behind you might not. I don't have to do that. She's going to jump over the bar. I think the most important thing is that you feel like you're better because she was around. You feel like you're delivering different care because she was around. I don't work at Adventist anymore, but I'm better than I was. Because not just because she said I was great, because she didn't that often. mainly because I wasn't that often. But because she would call me out. She would drag me back, as I said. That kind of, have you guys ever seen Winnie the Pooh? Eeyore kind of, that was me, walking behind Marie back to a patient's bedside. And I'm not sure it was just clinical. I think she knew who I was. She cared about what I did. She cared about when I was good and when I wasn't good. We shared all kinds of things. Personal concerns, health concerns, Marie, bless your heart. I'm glad you're well. You look great. Family concerns. Marie and I happen to share some mental health issues that might have been our own or our family's. We cried, we hugged, but I just felt like when I left Adventist, and I feel like you guys are better than you would be if she hadn't been there. And that means more than what is in the rearview mirror. That means tomorrow, the next day. Just that matters to me. They're vulnerable people. Who would choose to work on a med-surg ward her whole career that could choose to be somewhere else? This is a transition place. Med-surg is a transition place. People who have options don't stay there. They don't stay there for a career. They don't. Those are the vulnerable people. Those aren't the people that are showing up and saying, here, shave my groin, I'm ready for my angioplasty. Those are people who show up in the emergency room and are worried and are anxious and are confused and demented and need disimpaction. Have you guys ever seen a disimpaction? Those of you who are eating, Marie Perrin, it is really PTSD. I've seen people, tears are running down my face right now for other reasons, but I've seen people with tears running down their face after Marie goes after them. And that's love. When you need it, you need it. And Marie will bring it. Again, done. Jen Park is coming up and she'll be much more eloquent than I am. I just think that if you remember or wonder whether you're better than you were, I'm better. I am. I'm not that good, but I'm better. Love you, Marie.
I think I just missed Kurt a lot more than I did before.
Amen.
The band's getting back together for you, Marie. I mean, Kurt's here, Annie's here. I mean, the band's back together. So I'm going to be not quite as long-winded as Dr. Nernest. It feels like I'm always following him. But seriously, Marie, I'm going to be a little bit more serious than Kurt was because I'm just not as funny. You taught everyone. You taught the young nurses, you taught the young doctors. I mean, I remember when I was just a little junior doctor straight out of residency, and I don't know who's going to fill your shoes. And I think we all need to realize that when people move on to different phases of their lives, when Kurt left, when you're leaving, and we all mourn, and we just need to realize that we kind of take the baton, and hopefully some nurses will be, a different version of you. I mean, there's only one Marie. On my little card that Shelley wanted me to write, I said, there's only one Marie. Will only be. So I will miss you, and I am thankful for you, and I'm thankful for you really partnering me and teaching me and being very honest with me about all my partners as well. And I appreciate how many patients that you help pass on. I mean, this truly is mission work, and Kurt talked about that a little bit, and that was a particular strength and expertise, and you taught your nurse colleagues a lot about that too. And anyway, thank you. We will keep working with everything and on your legacy. You can always come back. I mean, Farbach did, right? I mean, we had this big retirement party for Farbach, and what did he do? He came back. So, Farbach, come back.
I would like to add my 2 cents, and I'm not very comfortable public speaking, so I have notes that I gotta look at. This is called a toast to Marie. We gathered tonight to celebrate a successful career, an amazing nurse, and importantly, our friend Marie. So many adverbs: strong, wise, perceptive, committed, blunt, consistent, supportive, realistic. All those describe Marie. My first experience with her was 18 and a half years ago. I vaguely remember she was wearing a nursing cap, but maybe that was Opal. I soon learned from Marie that she was someone whose judgment I could count on. When Marie said Mr. Johnson in 3104 is sick, that was a fact. She could sense it. She used her experience. She filtered it through her ears, her eyes, even her sense of smell. She processed it through her intracranial logarithms, and she would recognize a patient's condition. Sometimes she'd say, "He's way gone." That meant the patient was just about to die. Funny, but recognizing a dying patient isn't always an easy thing. While doctors continued writing orders for DVT prophylaxis and ordering antibiotics or the second or third CT scan, Marie would note the patient's respirations pattern, the change in level of consciousness, or the diminished, or the modeling of the skin on the thighs. Long before there was such a thing as a Met call, there was a Marie call. Once a patient had transitioned to comfort care only, there was no doubt Marie understood what was the most effective and appropriate treatment, not just for the patient, but for the family. She was clear and direct with her approach. Her patients died well, peacefully. Sometimes she had patients who only thought they were dying. Marie was there for them too. Perhaps she did not sit at their bed and hold their hand or wipe their brow, but she could recognize a situation that could be directly solved, be it with a single gloved finger applied in an aggressive rotational manner to a certain area of impaction, or by providing 8 milligrams instead of the usual 2 to 4 of morphine IV push directly into the veins of a heroin addict who was going through horrible withdrawals. As the years went by, it seemed Marie became more of a teacher and a consultant, deftly instructing young nurses and doctors as to their roles in interfacing with patients' families, or sometimes with consultant physicians. She knew when to put a foot on the brake or when to press on the gas. She had mastered the art of nursing and medicine. Yes, she understood this art, but she also understood the science. However, she would not unnecessarily use complicated terms, medical terms, with patients or family. I never heard her say agonal respirations or your father is obtunded. However, she would use the term rigors. She liked that word. She would explain it though. She'd say that's when the bacteria hits the bloodstream. She'd recognize that needed direct action, blood cultures first, IV antibiotics next, and perhaps a transfer to the ICU. I learned to lean on Marie and felt it was my job to be willing to be leaned on. Some days, maybe I'd feel swamped with discharge plans, new admits, family conferences, reconciliations not signed. But if I sensed Marie had a concern, whether it was about a patient situation or a fellow colleague, I wouldn't put it off for later. And learning this was probably the smartest thing I ever did. Lately, our conversations have revolved more around about the house that she's building out on the coast and what it might feel like not to be coming to the hospital to work. She'd always get a smile on her face, and you know what? She earned it.
And Annie printed this like I was 24 years old. So you'll have to bear with me because I can't see it at all. I'm really serious. If somebody has stronger glasses, I need them. Thought we would share a little about Marie's background for those of you who may have worked with Marie but don't know about her life outside of work. Marie's life started in the Oregon City Hospital where, as a newborn, she nearly died from a staph infection. She was raised in the small coastal town of Beaver, Oregon. Her family lived on the banks of the Nestucca River, so fishing was a favorite hobby for her and her 3 brothers. And I think one brother's here. Yeah, her family's at this table over here. Hello. She attended Beaver Elementary School, where she graduated as valedictorian of her 8th grade class. She then went to Nestucca High School, where she excelled in sports, especially track, winning many trophies and awards. She also excelled in academics, graduating as salutatorian of her senior class. And that doesn't surprise me at all. Following her high school, Marie worked as a CNA at the Tillamook Hospital for the summer. The following fall, she started college at Western Oregon University in Monmouth, Oregon, completing prereq courses for nursing. After 1 year, she transferred to Walla Walla College, completing her bachelor's in nursing in August of 1980. After celebrating her graduation from college with a trip to Hawaii, Marie started working at Portland Adventist Medical Center in September of 1980 as a limited licensed graduate nurse on the medical unit, working 3 to 11 shift. She took the Oregon State Nursing Boards in February of '81, back when only given in July and February, and it took 6 weeks to get your results. Of course, she passed her boards and officially became a registered nurse in April of 1981. About this time, she transferred to day shift. She has always loved to read, learn to educate herself and others. She subscribed to every nursing journal and read them faithfully. She quickly rose to the ranks as relief charge nurse. 1 year after Marie started at AMC, Annie joined the medical unit and the two quickly became friends. Marie was happy to share all of her 1 year's worth of experience with Annie, seeking out learning opportunities for her, including getting her to do the first male catheterization when she was terrified as a new grad. Their friendship continued. Marie and Annie started traditions that have continued to this day, such as annual beach trips every May to celebrate Marie's birthday, picking peaches every summer at Annie's family farm. Being 2 months apart in age, they also celebrated milestone birthdays together, including a trip to Hawaii to celebrate their 50th. Marie became head charge nurse in 1999. She continued to educate her staff by sharing her knowledge and in the daily huddles and shift change, and encouraging her staff to attend seminars and conferences, and always seeking out learning experiences on the unit for students and new staff. She obtained her National Oncology certification and gave in-services throughout the hospital and on end-of-life care. Though Marie has retired from AMC, she will continue her role as caregiver, caring for 2 elderly ladies in her new home in Tillamook. She is moving back to her home in Beaver, where she will be near her 3 brothers, nieces, nephews, and great-nephew. Marie, a whole bunch of us got together and we're trying to figure out what we can get you as a gift from all of us on the 3rd floor. And it's somewhere between the East Coast and the West Coast. I have no idea where. But since you had to leave your garden behind, we thought we'd buy you a bench that could go with you to Tillamook, and it's a rock bench, 225 pounds. You'll need to come pick it up. I'm not delivering it. We had it engraved. We were trying to think of what to put on it, and since you have spent 37 years teaching us, and your little word to all of us is, there's a gym thought there, or today I'm going to talk to you about a new gym thought I came up with last night. So we've had it engraved to say, have a seat and ponder a little gym thought. And that's from a whole bunch of people. It's from your third floor family.
It's hard to stand up here. I feel very overwhelmed. I couldn't believe what's all been done for me. As I listened to it, I thought it's to somebody else, not me. And thank you doesn't seem sufficient to say, but thank you very much for the going away party. I will appreciate it very much, and I want to remember it until this old mind of mine is gone. As you know, I grew up at Adventist Medical Center, basically. And you could say I grew out at Adventist Medical Center, too, looking at some of the pictures. But there's a lot of things I'm going to miss. It's bittersweet to retire, and it's because I'm going to miss you guys. Not so much the hard work on the medical unit. A lot of people ask me, how come you stayed so many years on the medical unit? That's an easy answer, because of you guys. That's why I stayed. And you guys want a little gym thought, I guess I'll share it. Not too long ago, I heard a marathon runner, she spoke. And she said, at the beginning of the race, you're very excited. And at the end of the race, you're very excited. But remember, it's the middle miles that get you through. Running the middle miles. And so I want to thank each one of you that have known me for years, and even the ones that are just new, for your help in getting me through the middle miles to get to the finish line at Adventist Medical Center. I'm going to miss the huddles that we have and had every morning on our floor. Going to miss the social work huddles. We shared and talked about all the patients, and I'm going to miss the stories that I was a part of, things that I witnessed that, well, some of them were unbelievable. Things that I heard and saw. I think the ones on the medical unit can enter into that. I'm going to miss those, and they taught me a lot. And I learned at Adventist Medical Center how to truly love. As you know, there's some things I don't love, and most people can mention some of the things I don't care about. But I learned that in each person there's something to love. If you learn that, then it's easy to get along with somebody. Just love them. And I learned patience. When I began, I was pretty quick and wanted things to go my way. But I learned that things will get done, and we'll get to the finish line. Might not be my timing, but we'll get there. And so I just want to thank each one of you for this going away party and all you've done for me. I feel like it's not what I've done for you, but it's what you've done for me that means the most to me. So thank you again.
Hello. All right, we're going to sing a song. And you're all singing with us. The words are going to pop up on the screen. Okay, it's the tune of Bye Bye Love. But we'll change the words.